identity. Holy Halloween costumes, Batman. Holy profanity. Holy homemade bomb, Batgirl.
Holy dead child, Batman. Class is back in session, my Chucky fans. You know what time of the year it is. We are now on season 2 of Chucky. Feels like only yesterday we were all talking about season 1. It's so amazing to live in a world where we just get continuous Chucky in our lives, and for the next, 10 weeks, we get to enjoy some Chucky goodness headed our way. And as the honorary Chucky boy of YouTube, you guys know it's my duty to break down episode 1 of the Chucky TV series, appropriately named Halloween 2, which is actually my favorite Halloween sequel, bringing us back into the Chucky universe and laying the groundwork for the rest of the season. So I'm gonna need you Chucky fans to give me your opinions down below. What are some of your early predictions? Any theories to what's happening here? They set up a lot of mysteries, and well, I'm gonna be predicting things and end up being wrong like I always do. Whatever the case, just grateful you guys are back. Now, before we do dive into episode 2, I do just want to give a little bit of disclaimer, because this happened all of season 1 with Chucky. Even though this is a show about a murderous doll that has a filthy mouth, we see blood, we see deaths of even little kids, but it is because there are kid actors in the show that YouTube will flag these videos as kid content and turn off the comments. As soon as they get turned off, I do my best to turn them right back on, but if you're watching this and the comments are off any point in season 2, now you know why. Alright, enough with all that. Let's just go ahead and dive into episode 1 of the Chucky TV series. So we start off where everything ended last season with Andy Barkley, played by good old Alex Vincent. If you're out there, my friend, I hope you're doing well. It's always a joy when we get some Andy back in our lives, and this just felt really intense. I wanted to know what happened as soon as he drove off with Tiffany and these Chucky dolls in there, and there was a couple of funny moments in here. I was laughing at bald-headed Chucky. I want me a Funko Pop or some sort of figurine. In fact, for my people who love to collect Chucky merchandise like I do, because I can't get enough of it, NECA, the company that made my little Chucky figurine right there that I think every Chucky fan should own at least once in their life. This thing is amazing. They recently teased on their Instagram that they're going to be making little figurines from season 1, and this is obviously melted face Chucky that we got in that season. So one day we have hope for bald-headed Chucky to be on our shelves, guys. We'll make it happen. But there were a couple of interesting moments that transpired in the van here. We see the Chucky dolls are having a hard time figuring out who's driving the truck. This, I thought, was them adding some new lore and rules to where if Chucky pops up a doll, it doesn't have memory of everything Charles Lee Ray does, but it looks like it just took them a while to realize it was it. All in all, this was still a very badass moment between Andy and the Chucky dolls, just seeing them get on top of the van, trying to get at them, and then it drives off a cliff. I was worried for Andy, okay? You already destroyed Nika's life. Don't tell me you're getting rid of the OG. I was scared they got rid of him this way, but then later on in the episode, they mentioned they never found his body, and the #1 rule in horror is you don't have a body, they ain't dead. Bringing us to the title card sequence that I'm happy they're keeping the tradition with this season, always matching with what the opening scene or episode is about. And this one being about Halloween's, we got pumpkins. From here, we catch up with our lover boys, Devin and Jake. Now that the two are essentially orphans, it's time for them to go to their foster parents, and I thought this was a really sweet moment of them just owning who they are instead of hiding it from their soon-to-be parents. It also introduced us to the sweet little foster brother that Jake had, Gary, that I really didn't think what was gonna happen, and by the end of this episode was gonna happen. He's a big 1960s Batman fan, though, I'll tell you that.
Holy Jack-in-the-Box. Holy red herring. Holy stuffy. Holy ravioli.
Having the show flash forward us 6 months later to where they're now adjusted to their new living situations. Jake is being a great foster brother, helping him out with his costumes that are homemade. And as a comic book fan, I wonder if these costumes will have a deeper meaning. I'll get to that in a sec. But some really cool horror movie Easter eggs that we get in here is when a familiar voice starts to call Jake. I think any Chucky fan immediately recognized who that was, but it was the name that Chucky was looking for that I thought was an interesting Easter egg, because Chucky asked for Tamara.
Hello? Is Tamara home?
And that's actually a line used in the horror movie The Strangers.
Is Tamara here?
No.
And funny enough, The Strangers are getting a brand new reboot with 3 movies that is currently being filmed right now with Madeline Pesh from Riverdale. But I'd also be crazy if I didn't mention that this also felt a lot like the opening of Scream with Drew Barrymore. Just kind of nice that the creative team loves paying homage to different kinds of horror movies. I dig it. But essentially what it looks like Chucky is trying to pull off here is getting the remaining trio all together into one household. He was trying to scare Devin and Jake into going to Lexi's house to go rescue her, because it appeared that he was about to attack her, but for now that remained unsuccessful. I have a lot of questions for why Chucky wanted to do it that way, but before we get to that, I have another big question, because who the heck is this therapist? This has to be like the first big mystery of the season, because this girl is up to something and I don't think she's working with Chucky. But this is the therapist that Lexi's family goes to try to get over their trauma, which it looks like the mom has completely gotten over it and just wants to move on and become Mary again. Great mom. But this therapist recommends that Lexi and Caroline need to get over their fear of dolls and brings out the Bride of Chucky doll, but what the doll originally looked like before Tiffany gave it a little pizzazz. This is a really nice callback for fans of the franchise who even remember this doll before it went blonde, but it also makes sense why it was needed to be brought in. Andy just shot the head off the previous Tiffany doll, but it feels like whatever motive this doll has, it isn't necessarily connected to Chucky right now. He's currently seems very angry with Tiffany, doesn't want to work with her, and he even mentions in this episode he wants to kill her, so I wonder what Tiffany has up her sleeve with this doll and who this therapist is to be connected to her. Also, I gotta say, I'm happy Lexi's learning and started attacking and beating that doll up, but you shouldn't have stopped at some stomping, Lexi. You needed to bust out the flamethrower and cuss this thing out. It's worked before.
I said talk to me, damn it, or else I'm gonna throw you in the fire!
You stupid bitch, you filthy slut!
Another thing that kind of brings up some confusing lore into the Chucky universe is that whenever Lexi sends a picture of this doll for Devin to investigate if it has any connection to Chucky, and Devin mentions that, yeah, this is the Tiffany doll from the movie Bride of Chucky that was made in their universe. And look, it's not crazy that there's Chucky movies within the Chucky universe. It's an infamous doll with a lot of legends and myths surrounding it. Stuff like that in our world gets movies. But it's just when they went a little further with the details, because they also mentioned Jennifer Tilly starred in that movie, and we know Jennifer Tilly in this universe is actually Tiffany Valentine. And they were filming a movie in Seed of Chucky, but the name of that movie, if I recall, is Chucky Goes Psycho. And with the events of Seed of Chucky, it didn't even look like they finished filming that movie. So I wonder if Tiffany, after she took hold of Jennifer Tilly's body, continued on a movie career and started working on these Chucky films and maybe even making them a little bit more accurate. Wouldn't be surprised if the Chucky movies in that universe lean a little more favorably towards Tiffany, since she had a hand on working on them. Still, it's just kind of funny though that there's at least two Chucky movies that we know of in this universe, Chucky Goes Psycho and Bride of Chucky. Bringing us to the end of the episode where the trio is finally under one roof trying to devise a plan how to go after Chucky, where Chucky himself shows up at that door with Gary thinking this is all a game. Now here's where I do want to voice one complaint I'm having with the Chucky TV series, that although they're doing really dark things that I enjoy, like, you know, offing a child, who doesn't like seeing that? I miss when Chucky would only be seen in certain ways, or was only presented on camera in certain lighting, and was always made menacing. To me, whenever they bring out Chucky and he's just like fully lit like the rest of the cast, is treated like another supporting character instead of what he is, which is the main villain that is also kind of like the monster or scary creature of this show, I think it works against Chucky when you see him in broad daylight doing his bidding, even if it is something as dark as manipulating a child. Even taking it a step further when he starts to joke around that he uses Uber to travel around, which, hey, is a great explanation.
Come on, step on it!
But it falls into that territory of Chucky being more of a joke than being this thing we used to all be terrified of. But like I said, that's just a personal gripe and nitpick. Some people might not care and enjoy the fun Chucky that can also be dark and kill people. And maybe throughout the rest of the season, there are some really great moments where Chucky will just be straight up terrifying under the right circumstances. But now, getting to the event where he actually goes ahead and offs off Gary, the one thing I was wondering is if the writers are at all comic book fans, and if they're not, that's cool. But this whole thing of making them Batman and Robin, there's an iconic story where Batman, who in this instance is Jake, does not protect Robin and ends up getting killed by the Joker. And in this situation, the Joker is Chucky, and then the Robin that got killed, Jason Todd, would be Gary. Eventually, that Robin, who was once sweet and loyal to Batman, comes back as a nemesis wanting to get rid of Batman. I wonder if that's something they were teasing there, or that's just me being too much of a geek with something I shouldn't be. Probably that. Ending it off though with the trio not going to jail when they're like maybe a year or two away from being of legal age, and there's a dead kid there, but whatever, we need to drive the plot forward and have them sent to a school, which I'm all in favor of, because we find out this was actually once the school that Chucky grew up in, the wayward home that we saw flashbacks of in the first season, essentially making this Chucky's home territory. He knows all the crooks and crannies of this place and is going to use those to his advantage. That is scary, but it also makes me wonder if this person is working with Tiffany and they purposely got sent there Are our characters going to find out more information about Chucky that could be detrimental to ending him? We'll just have to wait and see and find out, but hey, I am still all on board with this. I might have my gripes and nitpicks, but they are doing a fantastic job here, and I hope they follow through the rest of the season. Let me know what you guys thought of the first episode of season 2 of Chucky, your theories, your thoughts, any gripes you might have. Always happy to hear from you guys, but don't be forgetting to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, follow me on Twitter at 3C Films or on TikTok at 3C Films. But as always, I'm Chucky Boy. Take care. Holy dead child, Batman.